Assalamu alaikum, Hamige. So today our topic is self-evaluation, the unit is, and today we will have lesson on self-assessment. But before beginning our lesson, today we are going to review relative clauses. So we use relative pronouns to introduce relative clauses. Relative clauses tell us more about people and things. For example, do you know the man? Do you know the man who is reading the newspaper? The question is to find out the person, the man whom we are going to know. Or the second one is, my school is a place where I feel relaxed. We use relative clause to tell about people or thing or situation that we are going to tell more information about people, thing or situation. So in these sentences, we try to use, or we use pronouns, relative pronouns, to introduce relative clauses. For example, do you know the man who is reading the newspaper? Here we are going to know about the person who is reading the newspaper. Or the second one, my school is a place where I feel relaxed. So there are two types of relative clauses. The first type, we use relative clause to make clear which person or thing we are talking about. For example, he was the only man who might be able to help. Here we are mentioning that the person we are talking about was the only man who could help to us. Or the second one, this is a house which was made a museum of Yunus Rajabi. We are paying attention to the place is made for the museum of Yunus Rajabi. In this kind of relative clauses, we can use that instead of who or which. For example, in spite of using he was the only man who might be able to help, we can say he was the only man that might be able to help. Or this is a house which was made a museum of Yunus Rajabi. We can use this is a house that was made a museum of Yunus Rajabi. So next type of relative clauses is used to give more information about the person, thing, or situation. For example, the manager who is responsible for this will come back in 20 minutes. We are going to pay attention to the person, a manager, who is responsible for that job. We are not going to pay attention time. He will come in 20 minutes. Next example. The place which he is explaining was exciting. So we are talking about the place, that's exciting place, but we are going to pay attention. He is explaining, the person is explaining. So previous given second type of relative clause is identified as defining and non-defining clauses too. A defining relative clause identifies who or what we are speaking about, whereas non-defining relative clause just gives us more information about who or what we are speaking about. That means defining clause is essential in a sentence because we need it in order to know who or what someone is describing. A non-defining relative clause is not essential in a sentence because it adds more information about who or what we are talking or describing. For example, the car which is parked outside the building is mine. This is defining because you are telling the listener exactly which car is yours. So my car, which is blue, is very expensive. This is non-defining because the relative clause, which is blue, does not tell this listener anything necessary about your car. The main message is that it is very expensive. The color is just more information. In this kind of relative clauses, we can use that instead of who or which. So we have reviewed relative clauses. So we will have questions with you. So you may have several questions like this. Did I meet the success criteria? Or did I understand what the teacher asked me to do? Did I try my very best? What do I need more help with? Did I use the resources the teacher gave me? Did I read directions carefully? Did I pay attention? Is my work neat and presentable? What will I do different next time? If I could give myself a score between 1 and 5, what I would be? Did I take my time? Did I ask for help when I needed it? What should I be practicing more? Did I check my work properly? Was this easy, quite challenging, or very difficult, and why? So, while studying the subjects or grammar tasks, we should ask kind of questions because they help us to self-control ourselves or self-direct. So, our new topic is self-assessment. In this way, we will divide our planning days into 3 categories. This helps us to avoid plagiarizing. The first is diary. If you keep your diary and then you always try to write down all the tasks on your notebook. And the second is planning timetable. While planning timetable, you will be able to control your day or your week for dividing them into weeks. And the next one is self-assessing pictures. Self-assessing pictures helps you to control not only your day, but your time, doing everything on time or doing your tasks due to your plan. So let's look through vocabulary. The first word is discovery. Discovery means a thing or fact that is found for the first time. Next is incredible. Impossible to believe, the meaning. The third one is self-assessment. That's the meaning is the process of judging your own progress or achievements. To compliment, to tell somebody that you like or admire his or her work. The next one is practical. The practical is connected with real situations rather than with the ideas or theories. To identify. Identify means to recognize somebody or something. And the next one is to create, making something new. Next is entire. Entire means the whole. And the next is to revise. Revise means to look through your topic or your theme again. And the last one is self-directed. Self-directed means self-controlled. That means doing tasks without involving other people. So here I would like to discuss with you several approaches. The first is I find the students who can think critically, understand complexity, and think creatively. They take 28% of the students. Next is students who have reflective skills and self-awareness, empathy and deep listening and humility. And the last one is, which takes 43%, that means community engagement, verbal communication, teamwork, and students who are able to deal their skills with other students. If you understand new topic, let's check your knowledge. The first task I would like to do with you is listening. Let's listen the tape.
They're making the decisions themselves. The greatest discovery is definitely, wow, my students can improve so much from this. It's like an incredible discovery.
If you take your time for a self-assessment, it will make your work better because you have to take time to view your own work and not just like hit it in instantly. And then when you realize your mistake, you can't make it. Check yourself and try to tell yourself what you did wrong, and also try to tell yourself what you did right, and so you're complimenting yourself. And you usually do this on like a writing piece, but you could do it on anything. It's always about improving now because you know you could do better. Like the next time you write something, you're always looking out for those mistakes. That does make me notice things that I wouldn't usually notice.
When I came into teaching, the most important thing for me as a teacher was to create independent learners. That feeds their entire life.
I say learning, you say growth. I say question, you say answer. I say self-assessment. You say a practical method of helping students identify strengths and weaknesses in their own work and revise accordingly. It is our hope that with these methods, your students may develop the skills they need as independent, self-directed, and lifelong learners.
So what's the point of having school if you can't learn from your mistakes?
So, if you have finished listening, let's check our answers. The first is, teacher is talking about making decisions. The first answer will be making decision. And the second is, she is explaining how her students or his students are rising on enlarging their knowledge. That is why here he or she paid attention to the word improve. The second key will be improve. Next is take your time for a self-assessment, and students is explaining. He will realize his mistakes, so that is why he is suggesting you will realize your mistakes. Next one is second student explaining. Tell yourself that you did wrong or right. So that means you have to understand what things you are doing wrong or what things you are doing right. And the next keyword is complimenting yourself. And the last one is, second teacher is, most important thing was to create independent learners. Here the word left, create independent learners. And the last one is entire life. Your home assignment is make a list of vocabulary which you have learned. And the last is assess your family members, classmates, and teachers by using a tool of exercise of brainstorming. Thank you for your attention.